Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Darrell Brooks saga. On today's episode, we're gonna continue with the pre-trial. We're still preparing to go into the actual jury and stuff. But before that, I just want to say thank you guys for sticking by. Thank you to all the new subscribers that have been that we've been getting while I was gone. Thank you so much for subscribing. I hope that I can now that I can continue making videos, I can deliver more to you. I won't go into much detail of why I had to stop a little bit, but I just want to tell you guys that you're great. You matter. And I want you guys to always have that in mind. Like, sometimes in life, it gets difficult, I think, for everyone. Um, but I'm glad that you're here. Hopefully, we can continue to make fun of this guy and multiple people um, together. Have some laughs, because that's what it's all about. That's what I want to get all the time, is that you guys can have a good time while watching these videos. Now, without further ado, the link to the original video is in the description below. Let's get to it.
Good afternoon, Judge Sue Upper.
Leslie Basie and Zach Witchow, all appearing for the state of Wisconsin.
Sir, state your name for the record, please.
I'm here as a third-party intervener in that matter, appearing as authorized representative for my client. I accept for value and return for value all the charging instruments in this matter and make my exemption available for discharge of all obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts in the charging instruments.
Notice how low energy he is today compared to other days and compared to the following days. That's because right now he is trying to convey to everyone that he is sick. So he's hunched over, he's really low power, low energy. He's like, oh, I'm so sick, I can barely stand.
Also, Your Honor, I would like to make an offer for my appeal, if I may.
Why?
I'll get to that momentarily. The record will reflect that the individual known to this court to be Darrell Brooks is appearing in person in custody. We are, of course, outside the presence of the jury today. Since they are not here, we are dealing with some housekeeping type of issues.
I do not consent or identify by the name that you stated earlier. I want the record to reflect that, if I may.
The record will reflect.
What he doesn't get, and the reason why she's smiling like that, is that it doesn't matter if he doesn't identify as whatever he said. He doesn't matter if he doesn't identify or just he doesn't know Darrell Brooks, because she just say that the individual known to them as Darrell Brooks is wearing this. So that's enough to dispel any other thing that he's saying. Doesn't matter how you identify yourself. It matters how the court knows that you are that person.
Thank you. I instructed my staff to make sure.
And I want you guys to look at this. Look at this drama. Like, this is him trying. Like he's going for the Oscar right now. Like he doesn't look at the judge. He's just staring down. He has his hand on his head. He's like, I'm so sick. I cannot do it.
Ample copies of the subpoena forms were provided to you. I did receive verification that those were hand delivered.
Yeah.
Did you receive those, sir?
No, I did not.
And he never receives anything. Remember, he always accepts for value and returns for value. That's the reason why he never gets anything. You can have him on video. You can have him like him getting the papers, and he'll be like, I never received those. I accepted them for value and returned them for value. That's it.
We'll provide additional copies. Again, it's my understanding those were hand delivered. Mr. Brooks, I believe you were requesting 6 subpoena forms. I'm going to have my clerk print out 10 so that you have ample copies. And when that is done and those are handed to you, I'll make a record of that.
Will we address
Like she's trying to say that I know that you're gonna mess up, so I'm gonna give you more just in case. Don't worry.
the inmate communication form I sent about the,
I have a number of issues I need to address, so yes, we'll get to that.
you don't believe that that has that that's an important issue that should be taken up before?
Yes, she believes that it's an important issue. That's why she said that she was going to do it. I don't see the issue here.
We continue any further in the proceedings.
I just want to make sure the state has a copy of what was forwarded first before we take that up.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I respectfully would like to state for the record and would like the record to reflect that I believe that this is an issue that should be addressed at this point before we go
Sir,
any
I'm
further.
preparing to do that. After receiving the inmate communication form from Mr. Brooks requesting an adjournment, for the reasons stated in that document, I thought it important that we all have before us the current county protocol related to COVID-19.
Yeah.
I decline to accept that if I don't believe
Sir,
that
it will be placed on your table, but I will be referring to that today, so
Is
it's
it
been
law?
given to you.
Is it verified law, Your Honor?
What do you mean verified law? She's giving you the document. You should know that. But you didn't want a lawyer, so you now have to figure it out. And it's never the judge's job to explain anything to you. She can just continue moving on.
Attorney Opper, do you acknowledge that the COVID-19 illness reporting protocol was provided?
I respectfully object.
Yes, Judge.
Your Honor, I would like an answer to that question if I may.
No.
Because I have not consented to or agreed to accept any paperwork that.
Sir, it's been
It's not
provided
working.
to you. It's
So are you
something I'm going to
making-
consider. You don't want to
Are you
read it.
making-
You
are
want
you
to
making a
disregard it. That's
judicial-
your choice.
Are you making a judicial determination that you don't have to answer that question I just asked you, Your Honor?
Yeah, she doesn't have to answer your question. She gave you the paper. She was like, if you don't want to read it, it's up to you. It doesn't really matter to me.
Mr. Brooks, the COVID-19 protocol has been placed in front of you. It is your choice whether you want to review it or not. So my understanding, just from the information Mr. Brooks has provided, which is part of the public record, is he is requesting an adjournment of all proceedings due to learning that he's on a COVID-19 protocol. I don't have any other information than that, sir.
That is very easy information to obtain.
Now, what's happening now is that he's abusing the COVID system protocol. Like, remember, one of the few symptoms that you had was like you felt tired, you didn't taste food, what were the others? It was like you had fever, and there were a lot of symptoms that were not like apparently visible. Like if you have fever, they can check your temperature and they'll know that you have fever. But he went for the things that you cannot test. Like he went, I cannot taste anything, and I'm tired. So he went for those two to try to like stall the proceedings. I don't know why. I don't know what else was he gonna get with that time, but he was trying to prolongate this a lot.
Sir, I
Just-
have
just like-
an attorney for the
Excuse me,
county
Your Honor.
here
I
who
don't-
will
I don't wanna-
verify
I
that
don't
none
want
of
you to
that
think I'm trying to
information
argue
has
with
been
you, Your Honor.
provided to me due to
I don't-
HIPAA
I don't want you to think I'm
requirements.
arguing.
So I'm not
But
arguing
I don't want you to think that I'm arguing, but I'm gonna do it.
it with you,
I
sir,
know, I
one
just
bit.
want you to know that I'm not arguing with you either, but I was right in the middle of finishing what I was saying.
So I need to stop you for a minute, Mr. Brooks,
I don't
because
consent to that, Your Honor, because
you don't have to consent,
I
but
don't
here we go.
consent or agree
Let
to
me.
being cut off right when I'm trying
All right,
to
I'm just
provide
going to
the
talk
court with
over him for a
information.
minute. I do not have any other information regarding the COVID-19 protocol, meaning anything specific about you, Mr. Brooks, other than what was put in the inmate communication, which reads, due to just learning I'm on COVID-19 protocol, I respectfully ask for all proceedings to be adjourned at this time, which is why I asked you if there was any other information you wanted to provide me as I consider your request, because the jail has not provided me with any specific information.
That is incorrect because
Like he's trying to tell her that she's wrong. Like she's trying to get out of him like his information, his health information, because due to HIPAA, she cannot learn that from the jail. He's like, yes, you can, and she's like, no, I legally I can't. Even if they tell me, like legally I cannot use that. You have to tell me.
just yesterday you were trying to obtain the witness list that was in my cell. You had no problem whatsoever having the JA come down here to have me verify that they can go in my cell and search for that. So I find it
Yeah, it's really different. Health information is different than just a random list that you have on your jail that is relevant to the trial. Those are two different things. I don't know why he doesn't get that.
very hard to believe that you can't consult with jail staff for them to tell you what is going on in my situation, where they know that I've just been seen by a nurse that placed me on this protocol for having a loss of taste, fatigue. We're talking about someone.
See, at the end of the day, he ended up saying what she wanted to hear, but he had to go all this roundabout way to just say that. That's what she wanted to hear. Like, how are you feeling? Can you still get going with the trial or not?
Health that can affect not just you, but anybody else, not just officers, but also inmates. We're talking about health and we're talking about safety. That has a lot of merit. And frankly, Your Honor, I'm afraid. I'm fully vaccinated and I've never had COVID. I don't know what I'm looking at here. That was the last thing I was hoping I would be told today, Your Honor. So I'm afraid right now. I'm not feeling well. I don't know what's going on with myself. That's the reason why I put in the sick call slip initially. I had been telling officers for days that I hadn't been feeling well, but I didn't know what it was. But I felt that I had to put in the sick call slip because I was not able to taste anything. That is the reason why I was seen by nurses. That is the reason why the COVID test was administered, and that's why I'm on the protocol as we speak.
Are you willing to discuss with me what tests were done? Again, I cannot obtain that information on my own.
I'm not a nurse, Your Honor. I mean, why can't it be?
Again, he keeps trying to feign this ignorance, but she's asking the direct question of what she needs to hear in order to stop the proceedings. But he just cannot handle that for some reason. And then he goes to say all these things about what he was feeling, like I said, the phantom symptoms. It's just really tiring. Like, he goes way too deep into things that don't really matter.
Be verified with the nurse.
I have to verify it with you. The nurse will not provide me with this information.
There you go.
But the jail can, because they control the movement. They control all inmate movement. I can't just go from my cell to a HSU.
Inmate movement is not the issue at the moment.
It's not, but I'm saying the jail itself controls the movement of the inmates. That's common sense.
She's like, that doesn't matter right now. And she's like, but I know it doesn't matter, but let me tell you more about it.
I'm not here to talk about inmate movement at the moment. What I'm asking you is, do you believe you were tested for COVID?
I obviously was tested for COVID. I would not be on the protocol if I was not.
How hard was to say that before? It was a yes or no question, and you just had to answer.
Do you know
The
what
nurses-
type of test? Was it an oral swab, a nasal swab?
It was a nasal swab.
All right.
See, he has to take him by the hand and be like, look, these are the options. Do you have these or not? Because you said before that you were not a nurse, so you didn't know, but now you know.
Do you know when the results of that test will be back?
From my understanding, Friday. That's what I was told by the doctors. I would have to be at least on this protocol until the results come back, which he said the earliest would be Friday.
Were you offered a rapid test?
They said they do not do the rapid test.
Like notice this little detail, this evading the question is really important because it's a yes or no question. Like, they offer you a rapid test? And he's like, they say that they don't do them. That doesn't mean that he wasn't offered. And we'll know more about it later.
So you weren't offered a rapid test?
They said they don't do them. Frankly, I'm very afraid right now because I don't know what's going on. This is new to me. Like I said,
and I get that you're afraid. I can go to a human level and relate to that because I mean I had it. I had COVID before the vaccines were administered, and it was rough, but it was okay. I think I had more trouble when I got the vaccine than before. But he's saying that he's fully vaccinated. So what's the issue? I'm vaccinated against like tetanus, so I don't really worry about it.
I'm fully vaccinated, Your Honor. I've been fully vaccinated since 2021. And so
good.
For this to just be sprung on me now to say this could possibly be a COVID thing, I've had people close to me that have passed away from COVID. I'm afraid as hell, Your Honor.
I don't believe that.
That's the reason why I submitted the ICF for the adjournment. I was thinking at least until I can get the results, at bare minimum. I don't think I'm asking something that's impossible for
If
Your
I
Honor
can
to
make
grant.
arrangements to have a rapid test brought to you and administered, are you willing to submit to that test?
Not at this time.
Why not?
There you go. Like she's like, oh my god, this guy's afraid. I wanna help him. I wanna know right now if he's in danger so we can do stuff, so we can get him into medicine. I don't know, something. And he's like, nah, I don't want a rapid test. I don't wanna know right now. So I guess he's not really afraid then. Because let's say this. Let's say that she's like, okay, you know what? We're gonna go for it. We're gonna stop the trial and wait for the results. How is that gonna help him? He's just gonna be sitting on his jail and that's it. Another thing that I wanted to comment is that she's like, I don't taste anything. And I think that's just prison food. Like, I don't think prison food is really tasty. I don't know. I never been in jail yet. So I don't know how the food is right there. But I'm guessing that's the reason why he didn't taste anything. He was not used to that kind of food.
Not at this time.
Why not?
Why can't I get the results for the tests I already took?
But you're telling me you're scared? You're
Yes,
fearful?
I am.
But you don't
very.
want to take a test that might tell you today?
I took the test that he gave me.
And
if
you're
he
telling me
felt-
that-
Look at this. I also want to notice it. Look at this smile. Like, I love this smile. Like, she's like, I know what she's doing. You know what he's doing. Like, if like we can all see it in real time. Like, okay, you're very afraid. You're scared. Fine, we'll do the test and we'll get you in whatever treatment you need for that. And when he's like, no, she's like, I know what she's doing.
Test result won't be available to you until at least Friday.
At least Friday, that's what I was told.
Tomorrow.
I was told that I would be placed
day
on this
after.
protocol until the results came back. The earliest that the results would be back would be Friday.
So that sounds like, to me, I think that's what they call a PCR test.
I have no idea, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have no idea what it's called. Like
Let
I
me
said,
ask
I've
you-
never had COVID. I don't know the test names. I don't know what they call them.
I'm generally familiar with some of the testing for COVID, and I'm asking you once again, if a rapid test can be obtained, are you willing to take a rapid test?
How would that be obtained?
He cannot answer one simple question to save his life. He's like, would you be able to if you get one right now? I have it right here. This is my rapid test. Are you gonna do it? And he's like, nah.
How would it be obtained?
I would
was
work
told
with-
I can only go by what was told to me, because when I was brought in there and they told me that they had to test me for COVID, I was immediately like, what do you mean you have to even test me for this? What is this about?
Well,
I had
didn't
a
you
lieutenant.
report symptoms to them?
Excuse me, Your Honor. I had a lieutenant.
Yeah, he was like, why do you need to test me? I just told you that I had these symptoms. Why do you have? That's what happens when you report that you're sick. They're gonna be like, okay, let's see what we can do for you. Why was he surprised that they were checking on him?
And 2 officers present when I was asking all these questions. Why do I need, what's going on with this? Why is this? Why is this? Why is that? Because I didn't understand. Immediately in my head, I started to get afraid when they said they had to even test for COVID.
Well, were you reporting being sick and symptoms prior to them asking you to test?
Yes, I've told multiple officers. I didn't know what it was at first because it started with fatigue, with me feeling very fatigued. And I said, man, I don't know if it's just me being tired, or that's what I initially thought it was. Maybe I'm just a little exhausted. But I said, no, anybody knows their body. I said, this got to be something more, because I'm really, 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 I don't even have an appetite. Then when I'm trying to eat, I can't taste anything. That's what said, okay, now I need to put the medical sick
When did
card
you
slip in.
report these symptoms to the medical people or to even just a correctional officer?
A few days ago. Over the weekend is when I started to notice the fatigue. So I was telling officers, man, I don't feel good. I don't know if it's just I'm tired. Usually I don't just jump the gun and say something's wrong, because it could be anything. So
When did you report the loss of taste?
I reported the loss of taste last night.
At the moment, I told you this earlier, you're not within 6 feet of anyone else in this courtroom. And I believe that provides ample protection for the other people in this courtroom. As I consider this request, you've provided information to the court. You've been able to tell me the symptoms that you are reporting, your understanding of the protocols. Despite you reporting fatigue, I don't know if you're standing or sitting on the chair. I can't quite tell. It appears like you're standing, but maybe leaning over the table.
I got a knee on the chair.
Oh, knee on the chair. Okay, but you've been able to very clearly, coherently make your position known to the court at this time, and I appreciate that. Let me ask Attorney Opper if there's anything you would want to provide or state at this time regarding this request.
So what she basically did there was like, you know what? Even though you are sick, you're still able to be here. Like, it's not really intensive. You're just sitting here. You're just talking, basically, and you're able to do that no problem. So that will give him enough reason to deny his request.
Yes, Your Honor, a couple of things. Number one, we believe this is nothing more than a further delay tactic by Mr. Brooks. I can advise the court, as an officer of the court and as an offer of proof, that he is.
How could
Mr.
that?
Brooks, did
How
you
could that
hear
even?
Attorney Opper interrupt you when you were talking?
Well, I respectfully object to
You
that.
can object, your objection's noted, but you need to let her state what she needs to state. I will give you an opportunity to respond. I'd
That's
encourage you to use
that is
paper and a
ridiculous, Your
pen
Honor.
to write down. That's the rules of decorum in the courtroom, sir. We generally avoid interrupting one another. That is a sign that we all understand that this is a place of dignity. It is a place of respect. So I will give you an opportunity to respond, but you need to give Attorney Opper an opportunity without interruption.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Attorney Opper.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, again, we believe this is a delay tactic in line with the defendant's behavior since about the August 25th or 26th motion hearing. I can advise the court, as an officer of the court, that Mr. Brooks has been saying for the last several weeks in his recorded jail calls to his mother and others that he's going to get this trial delayed or adjourned or pushed back. This behavior, again, on the 11th hour is 100% consistent with that. I believe that if the court wanted more information from the jail administrator, she is present and could provide that information. I believe Mr. Brooks has waived any HIPAA privacy rights he may have in that regard and indicated that to the court. The fact that he claims to have started reporting symptoms as far back as the weekend, we're probably right up against the 5 days right now. If he started this on Saturday, which I don't believe there's any record of, we're at 5 days right now. And certainly the court's offer to...
I never once said...
Mr. Brooks,
I never
have
said...
an
I never,
opportunity
no,
momentarily.
No,
You
I
need to stay
respectfully
quiet.
object to that because that has no merit.
Mr. Brooks, it's not
she's
your
saying-
time
no,
to speak.
No, I respectfully object. I never reported saying what day. I never said a day.
But you said a few days ago that you started to tell the officer that you were tired over the weekend. So that gives her enough understanding to know that that's what you were talking about. You didn't have to say the exact date, but you can, by what you said, you can interpret that to mean the weekend.
And if she's saying she has jail phone calls, well, why aren't they present? Why can't?
Because she didn't know that you were gonna bring that up. How can she be prepared with the phone calls if she doesn't know that you're gonna talk about it?
They be verified by sworn affidavit and brought into this court to be shown that this is a delay tactic, as you say it is. How come it can't be shown by sworn affidavit? Can you provide proof of that?
All right, Mr. Brooks, I've given you a little bit of leeway because we are outside the presence of the jury.
I haven't given consent to waive anything. I've simply told the judge that I had no issue with her verifying with the jail that this protocol is in effect and that I was in effect tested for COVID-19. How could that be a delay tactic? If that was a delay tactic, why would I even need to be tested and placed on the protocol? Why does everybody have to have on masks to bring me down here?
Because they're being careful. Because they would rather tell you this, handle you like if you were, in order to protect themselves and others. But it really doesn't matter what you think.
All right, Mr. Brooks, I've given Mr. Brooks, I'm going to warn you now that you have interrupted a couple of times. You interrupted Attorney Opper twice.
I have to be able to speak up.
You're now interrupting me yet again. We all were polite and had you provide information.
Not polite. That was abuse.
That's at least the third interruption of this court.
What do you mean that was abuse? She only said what she thought of you, which is true, I guess. But I don't understand why he thinks that's abuse.
That was abuse by the prosecution. That was abuse.
Mr. Brooks, let me finish.
No, because that's
so he's outright refusing to listen.
I would not sit here
talking over me
I didn't
at the
refuse
moment.
Anything. I didn't refuse
Mr.
anything.
Brooks.
It doesn't matter if you don't say I refuse. You're not doing it. That means that you're refusing to do it. Shut up.
We are at the point yet again where I will put you in the other courtroom because you are not able.
I don't consent to being removed. I have not waived the right to be present, and I don't agree with that.
Mr. Brooks.
Does the
I
record
have
reflect?
provided you on multiple occasions and it's, should be in front of you,
No,
and
I
if
don't.
not,
I don't acknowledge that. I haven't agreed to it.
you have been
and I
advised
haven't
on
given
multiple
consent of it.
occasions that you need to abide by the standards of courtesy and decorum for the courts of Wisconsin. Because you are a litigant, you're both a named defendant, you are now acting as your own attorney by
I'm not a named
representing
defendant.
yourself.
I don't recognize the name
That all of the
this
rules
state
of courtesy and
put on
decorum
their
apply
complaint.
to
I don't
you.
recognize that name.
I need to warn you that further interruptions may very well result in you being removed to the other courtroom where you would participate by audiovisual means.
Yeah.
From the jail administrator, thank you very much. And just to get some general information and perhaps even some specific information regarding the what Mr. Brooks has provided, since he indicated I could verify all of this information with either the lieutenant or others who are present. So I believe we have Angela Wallenhaupt here, if she would come up to the witness stand.
Your Honor, if I don't want to mix issues, but the inmate communication form from September 28th also still needs to be addressed by the court, and I think the jail administrator may have some information relevant to that issue as well.
All right, thank you.
Please.
I have a list of a bunch of things I want to go over, and I'm gonna.
So, Your Honor, respectfully, just so I'm clear, are we addressing the issue at hand now?
We are.
Or are we addressing something from September?
We're addressing both of them. Like the reason why they are there is to do pre-trial stuff. They're gonna get all those issues there, but you know, he needs to get this done right now. I don't know why.
Well, I will get to the September inmate communication form at some point during this hearing, but right now I'm addressing the most recent inmate communication form that is dated October 5, and that addresses your request for an adjournment.
Judge, I have not reviewed his medical record prior to arriving here.
All right, fair enough. Do you have an understanding of what that is?
Yes,
Based on
however,
information provided to you?
yes, however, he has not signed a release allowing me to speak to the court. So if you are ordering me to speak to the court, I can speak to what my understanding is.
Mr. Brooks, I took your statements earlier that you would not object to me asking jail staff about the current situation to verify the information you provided. Is that still correct?
Yes.
I said that I wouldn't have any issue with pertaining to myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not speaking about anybody else in the jail. I'm not speaking about what everybody's situation is different.
Right, and I'm specifically referring to your situation.
Well, the question was asked in how does it pertain to me? It was pertaining to me,
What?
all the questions, which it came up when I said that there was a lieutenant and there were officers present when I took this test from the nurse.
Right, I'd like to verify the information that you're providing to me regarding what was reported by you, what tests were administered, and why you're on the protocol with the jail administrator. First of all, do you understand what I want to ask her about?
No, I do not
He
understand.
never understood.
Did you hear what I said just now?
I do not understand.
That doesn't mean that's not the question. She asked you if you understand. If you hear, sorry.
But did you hear what I said?
Frankly, Your Honor, I think she would probably be the wrong person to be asking because she wasn't present.
You must understand then what I'm saying if you think she's not the person who would provide that
No,
information.
I don't understand.
So,
I didn't consent to understanding or agreeing to that. No, I do not understand.
all right.
Whatever.
I took his statements earlier. I realize you don't have a written waiver as to be a verbal waiver of any privacy rights under HIPAA, and I am directing you to answer the question.
Okay. It was brought to my attention shortly before the lunch hour that he had made statements that prompted the medical department to follow up. As I said before, I have not reviewed the medical record. It is my understanding he was administered a test. He was also offered another test, to which he refused.
Look, like now the truth is coming out, a very verifiable truth, that he was offered a different test, but he refused that one. So, what do you have to say now?
Do you have any information regarding whether this other test would have been a rapid test?
I believe it to be.
Do you have those tests available in the facility to offer to an individual?
I have one available right now.
And just like that, his lies were debunked. Like, this person doesn't have any reason to lie. Like, she's just the administrator. She has all the she just doesn't need to. She doesn't need to lie. So what do you have to say now, Brooks?
Can I ask a question, Your Honor?
Of me or of the witness?
Jail administration.
Go ahead, you can ask a question.
Ms. Wallenhoff, if there were different types of tests available, why wasn't I administered the correct test when I first was tested? Why?
You were. They give you the nasal swab test. That's the correct test.
Why would essentially I would be asked to take a test, take that test, then turn around again and be told to take a whole nother test? In my mind, that's almost like some type of ploy or something, some type of scheme. Why?
Sir.
And see, this is the issue with Darrell Brooks. Like, in his mind, like he said, everything is a conspiracy against him. Like, he's trying to trying to say that by giving him 2 tests, the jail was kind of like give him, no, I don't know, I don't even know what he's trying to say, but that they were trying to dupe him. Like, we're gonna get this guy by giving him 2 tests. He's not gonna be what is that? What does that mean?
What's the question?
I asked the question, why would I not be given the correct test from the get-go instead of having to take 2 tests? If I've already taken one test.
You have to give her an opportunity to answer, and you gotta ask one question at a time.
I just asked the question.
Can she answer it then? Do you want her to answer it? I presume you do, since you asked the question, so you need to stop talking so that she can answer it, okay?
I love that. I love that she had to put him in his place and call out his actions. That, you know what, just stop talking and maybe she can answer what you're saying.
Limit your abuse, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
And again with the word abuse, that was not abuse.
I don't appreciate being talked to that way, Your Honor.
Your objection is noted. Go ahead and answer.
Judge, I would prefer not to answer that question. He states the wrong test. I don't know what he's speaking of. I have not reviewed the medical record with what test was administered, so I would prefer not to answer that question.
All right, fair enough.
I did not say the wrong test. I said 2
You say not the correct test. What else does that mean? If it's not the correct one, it's the wrong one.
tests. If it was, why would I need to take 2 tests for the same symptom?
Your Honor, I object to relevance and beyond the scope of this witness's knowledge, and it also assumes a fact, not an evidence.
Yeah.
I didn't have clarity on the answer to that question. Essentially, what I'm asking is,
Okay.
why would I need to take 2 tests for the same thing? There shouldn't. If I'm taking a COVID test, why would I need to take another one?
Because of this reason, because you want to delay stuff. So they're gonna try to get the faster way now, so that so that we can know and move on. That's why.
Now I'm gonna object as to lack of foundation and beyond the scope of this witness's knowledge, Your Honor.
The objection is sustained. I'll direct the witness. She does not need to answer that question. Next question, if you have one, please.
I still don't have clarity on that, Your Honor. I'm baffled.
Do you have another question? A different question?
Would it be any way to verify why I would need to take 2 tests for the same symptoms?
I'm not sure I understand the question, sir. I think,
I'm referring to the nurse who administered the test.
the nurse isn't here, though. This is Jail Administrator Wallenhaupt.
And that's why it's hard for me to wrap my head around why Mrs. Wallenhoff would be called to testify when she was not present. I think the wrong person is testifying.
Do you have any other
Because
questions
the
for
reason
her?
why I say
I understand
that-
what you're saying. Do you have any other questions for her, though?
Are you sure you wrapping your head around what I'm saying, Your Honor?
Yes. Do you have another question?
Do you have any other questions for this witness?
To your knowledge, you just said that you have a rapid test available right now. When did that become available? Because I was told otherwise.
I know there is a rapid test available right now. As I stated before, it is my understanding that you were offered a rapid test and you refused.
So why was I not offered a rapid test from the get-go?
Objection, relevance.
If she knows, she may answer.
I do not know the answer to that. I have not reviewed the medical record, jail contracts with the medical provider.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next question, if you have one.
So there are more than one type of COVID test administered by this jail.
Again, the jail contracts, Judge, I prefer not to answer that. The jail contracts with the medical provider. I do not direct testing.
I believe the record's clear that a rapid test was offered. It was declined by Mr. Brooks. The record's also clear that he
I
did
object to that,
submit.
Your Honor.
He did submit to a test. To further answer it might be speculative. So, do you have another question?
So would it be fair to say, you just said it would be speculative, so would it be fair to say that it'd be speculative that the second test would be a rapid test?
What? What is that? That question doesn't make any sense.
I will make a determination on your motion after all of the evidence and testimony on this issue is received.
Is that an answer?
I can't
Your Honor?
answer that question at this
Well,
time,
I'm
sir.
asking it of Ms. Wallenhoff. Is it because we just said it would be speculative?
Well, you
So-
were looking at me when you said that,
Well,
so are you, and I'm not gonna answer that question. I'm not a witness in this.
The
I
reason
make
why I
the
was-
determination
The reason why I was
ultimately.
looking at Your Honor is because
Do you have another question
I'm
for
still trying
Jail
to figure out
Administrator
how-
Wallenhaupt?
I thought testimony was supposed to be the prosecution and the defense's.
We are not at trial yet. She can answer questions to the witness. This is not the trial right now. This is pre-trial. What?
Time to
Sir,
ask
do you
questions.
have another question? Otherwise, I'm gonna ask the state if they have any more from this witness.
I asked the question: would it be fair to say that it's speculative about what the second test actually was?
What?
Mr. Brooks, I don't understand your question.
No one does.
What isn't to understand about it? If you were offered a test,
Objection,
Irrelevant.
relevance.
no, it's a question.
Hold on.
I'm
You're
getting
asking
I'm
a
going somewhere.
I'll let you get the question out, but I would just note you're asking her a hypothetical that, given her role, she might not be qualified to answer. But you can go ahead and ask it.
Well, it's not hypothetical. It's very logical.
He doesn't know what hypothetical means. Because he's about to ask a hypothetical question.
If you were
There you go. It's just, if you say if you, that's a hypothetical question.
offered a test and you took it, why would you need to essentially take another test that could have been done right from the beginning? If there would be any issues, if there would be
All right, Mr. Brooks, it's not relevant what she would do. So that's essentially an argumentative
Okay, so
question,
why-
and it's
so why would I
not
do it?
relevant. So
Why would
sit
I do it
down.
then?
You're done asking questions because you've
So
now
is that a
asked.
judicial determination?
I haven't made a judicial determination yet.
You're
Go ahead,
practicing
Attorney
law from the
Opper.
bench by being able to ask
Mr.
certain
Brooks?
questions of yourself.
Mr. Brooks,
He has no idea what practicing law from the bench means.
okay, here's your warning. I'm giving Attorney Opper an opportunity
So
to
you're
ask this
practicing law from
witness
the bench.
questions, and if you interrupt her, you will be removed to the next courtroom.
I don't consent to being removed to the next courtroom. I don't consent to even being at these proceedings if I'm not able to put on a proper defense, which is my constitutional right to be able to do so. I haven't agreed to any contracts. I haven't
This is not even the trial, dude. We're just talking right now. You don't have to put a defense right now. We're just talking about a disease, a sickness. What?
consented to any contracts, and I have
Your
not
objection
consented.
is noted. Attorney Opper, go ahead.
I have not consented
Thank you.
to
Ms.
an
Wallenhop,
estoppel either. J for relevancy.
to your knowledge, are those materials?
The objection is overruled. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. To your knowledge, if you know.
All right, we're gonna stop it here. I'm sorry, I kind of ran out of time, but we're gonna stop it here. We're gonna come back with the Susan Opper side of the question to Mrs. Wallenhop. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's great to be back. I really miss making those videos, but you know, sometimes life gets in the way. But hopefully we can continue with doing more of this. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.